Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watch You Want, and thanks for logging on. Today, we're looking at the Audemars Piguet Jules Audemars Chronograph, 41 millimeters in 18 karat rose gold. You can see this Jules Audemars Chronograph on our website, watchyouwant.com. Purchase it there, and if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. You can also click the card in the upper right-hand corner of this video at any time to see the full product listing for this watch with photos and prices. On my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, you can see that the 41 millimeter Jules Audemars Chronograph wears a lot like a 1930s or 1940s classic era chronograph, all grown up, which is to say it has modern size but timeless details. Now, the watch does have a reasonably large span from lug to lug. This one measures 48 millimeters, not big, not small, certainly not vintage, but the watch does have a comfortable planted stance on the wrist. 13 millimeters thick. It's not exceptionally thin, but it is nicely slanted with a sloped case flank that gives way to a tapered bezel. This is an easy watch to fit under a dress cuff. Now, it does have a wonderfully supple alligator leather strap that does feature semi-conforming spring bars. So you can see how it does close the gap between the flank of the case and the end of the strap, yet it doesn't rigidly prevent the strap from flexing down around the curvature of her wrist. So there's no resistance at the junction of strap and case. Aesthetically, it's excellent, and ergonomically, there is no compromise. Now, the strap is of excellent quality, very minimally bolstered. It actually features none, as you can see, with the only swell occurring as it wraps itself around the spring bar. It features a gorgeous monotone stitch. It is a rectangular scale alligator, and it is brown. It's a nice complement to the warmth of the gold case, and on the bottom, a beautiful calfskin, supple and soft against the skin. Now you can see that the watch features a very high-grade Audemars Piguet single-fold deployant, alternately brushed and polished in different parts of its composition. It's a beautifully finished piece that actually looks every inch the equal of what you would find on a rose gold Royal Oak offshore. It's that big, it's that substantial, and it's very impressive because you get the same degree of security that you would get on an oversized sports watch on a beautifully styled dress watch. Now, the watch itself features styling cues that are born of the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, even the early 50s, a time when Audemars Piguet did not assign reference numbers. So when I say that this watch is evocative of historic vintage pieces from Audemars, you know the ones. You can't necessarily name them, but you know the look, you know the feel, you know the character of those watches, and it's beautifully recreated here. Now, the lugs in the case are nuanced. You can see the contrasting brushed and polished facets. You can see that polished rim of the bezel contrasting with the laterally striated brushed grain of the case flank. You can see the complex curvature of the case flank to good effect from this angle. You can see it's almost bowl-shaped. It's beautifully vintage in style, and it's matched against the contrast of that high-polished bezel and polished lug tops. Now, the dial itself is a gorgeous white lacquer with, once again, heritage-inspired elements. It's a beautiful tricolor, white dominant, black is the secondary, and then there are just a few calculated shocks of red to enliven the composition. Now, the florid numerals that you see are hand-painted, so there is a little bit of calculated imprecision, the beautiful mark of a craftsman interacting directly with the dial. The lacquer is rich, wet. It almost looks like a vitreous enamel finish, and you can see there is a subtle countersink to the two sub-registers at 9 and 3 o'clock to give a little bit of extra depth to the dial. Now, the hands are beautifully rendered. They are blackened and they are pear style. So once again, we have a vintage motif that controls the composition and a gorgeous tachometer scale outboard, reminding us once again that chronographs, even in a dress mode, are very much sporting complications. Speaking of sporting complications, the watch features 2 Atm Water Resistance, so there's no need for screw-down pushers or crown. There is a knurled shoulder to each one of the pushers to give them a little bit more substance, a little bit more character, to hold their own visually with the knurled crown. And on the case back, the works is an Audemars Piguet at in-house caliber. This is the 3124-3841. Now, it features 59 joules, bidirectional automatic winding, and you can see that that's performed by an engraved Audemars Piguet winding mass, 22 karat gold. It winds in both directions, so you don't get that unweighted rotor wobble, the feeling of having a unidirectional winder on your wrist that can be a little bit untoward, unrefined. You don't get that here. Now, ceramic rotor bearings here, unlubricated and sealed for life, ensure both winding efficiency to energize the 50-hour power reserve, as well as low maintenance over the long term. Now, the watch does feature a full balance bridge and it features a Gyromax style free-sprung balance. So this is very much a movement in the sports watch style, designed to resist timing deviation due to shock or disruption on the wrist. Now the large balance, and it is exceptionally large in relation to the movement, beats away at a stately 3 Hz or 21,600 vibrations per hour. There's beautiful Côte de Genève linear across the bridges. All of the screws feature polished heads and chamfered slots. There's gorgeous mirror-grade anglage on the edge of every bridge, and all of the graining across the wheels is surgical. This is an outstanding example of an in-house complication, essentially created by combining the Audemars Piguet base movement, much like what you would see in a Royal Oak offshore, with a vertical clutch chronograph module. And because of that vertical clutch in the Dubois de Praz chronograph module, you can run the chronograph seconds hand continuously. If you prefer not to look to your sub-register for constant seconds, there is no hazard, no additional wear and tear on the movement if you run the seconds hand continuously. And because it is a vertical clutch, you can stop it, you can start it without the stagger, the jump, or the occasional reset precision issues that you see with the lateral clutch. This is smooth, this is seamless. You can see this vintage-inspired Audemars Piguet Jules Audemars Chronograph, 41mm in 18-karat rose gold, on our website, watchyouwant.com.